All the fallout from a dramatic night of Champions League action, more on Bayern's vacant coaching role, a decision is made on Arsenal's captaincy, and the big question involving a key Manchester United transfer target. I'm Paddy Higgs, filling in for Matt. You can see more about what he's up to later on our Instagram and YouTube stories, but this is your daily news. First, to a dramatic night in the Champions League. I'm sure you've all seen the results, including comebacks by Chelsea and Borussia Dortmund, and an uncomfortable win for Liverpool. It also means you're no doubt fully aware of Barcelona's shock 0-0 draw with Slavia Prague at Camp Nou. This comes hot off the back of their 3-1 loss to Levante in La Liga on the weekend, so the knives are well and truly being sharpened for Ernesto Valverde. Both Valverde and Captain Piqué admitted after the match that Barca are far from their best at the moment, but it is Valverde who will likely pay the price. The fans are pissed off, as the boos and whistles from the crowd indicated. This is not the Barcelona that they, or anyone else to be honest, are used to seeing. Marcelo Gallardo of River Plate and Netherlands coach Ronald Koeman lead the list of candidates to potentially take over from Valverde. It might not be long till one of them gets a phone call from Barcelona. And of course, we can't talk Champions League without mentioning that Norwegian man-child, Erling Haaland. The Norwegian's early penalty in Salzburg's 1-1 draw at Napoli brought a record with it, becoming the highest scoring teenager ever in a Champions League campaign. His 7th of the group stage in just 4 games puts him ahead of the likes of Raul and Kylian Mbappe. Big names to follow, certainly. It's no wonder, of course, that he's being linked with some massive clubs, but of course all these goals have jacked his price up. And if you believe the reports, the likes of Manchester United or Juventus will have to pay around 100 million euros if they're to land the Norwegian. Now, tonight's Champions League program features the likes of Real Madrid, Manchester City and PSG, but it is Bayern and their problems off the pitch that is stealing all the focus from the things on it. Bayern have Olympiacos at home in their first match since their 5-1 smashing at the hands of Frankfurt, which ultimately cost Niko Kovac his job. Now, Matt talked up Jose Mourinho's ambitions for the job, but he'll definitely have some competition, potentially from the likes of Thomas Tuchel and his old rival Arsene Wenger. Tuchel is someone Bayern have had their eye on since he left Dortmund in 2017. He's not the easiest to work with, as his time at Dortmund showed, but he's an innovative tactician and the Bayern bosses are fans. He's still at PSG and has told reporters that he's still happy at the club, but that apparently hasn't stopped Bayern getting on the phone and placing a call all the way to Thomas Tuchel in Paris. A seemingly interested party in the job could be Arsene Wenger. When asked if he would consider the Bayern job at all, he openly admitted that he was missing management and the cut and thrust that comes along with it. The fact that he speaks German, which is very much an important factor at Bayern, also helps his case. Now to Wenger's former club Arsenal, where things are far from rosy. As a consequence, there's more than one person at the club firmly in the spotlight. Hashtag Emery out is now a thing on Twitter. I'm sure you've all seen it, but he's not the only one, with Granit Xhaka's performance in the draw with Crystal Palace at the end of October putting him firmly in the sights of the club's fans. You've no doubt all seen that footage, but the latest on this is that Xhaka has now been removed as Arsenal captain and replaced by Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Emery said he had to take a decision and he now considers the matter closed, but that remains to be seen if Xhaka can save his career, because he's still been left out of the Arsenal squad to face Vitória Guimarães in the Europa League. Now, Emery and Xhaka of course have a lot in common, mostly the fact that they are completely despised by large portions of the Arsenal fan group, so it remains to be seen if both of them can stay at the club much longer. To the transfer market we now go, and a look at Manchester United's courtship of one of the Premier League's brightest young stars. United, of course, are not exactly having the season that they expected, which might explain why they're looking at reinforcements potentially as early as January. Top of that list seems to be West Ham youngster Declan Rice. The defensive midfielder has made an impact despite being still just 20 and is already a 6-time England international. But is he really worth £80 million? That is the figure being talked about in reports. Manchester United, of course, are no strangers to paying large sums for their targets, and the centre of the park is certainly one area they could do with strengthening. Rice has over 70 Premier League appearances despite his young age and can also pinch hit at centre-back when needed. Now, West Ham know what his quality is, hence the high price. But will United be willing to actually meet it? Now to the great debate, powered of course by the Onefootball newsroom. Today's big question: can Liverpool go the Premier League season undefeated? My take, sadly not if you're a Reds fan. To be honest, I think they will be in too many competitions, still busy at the end of the season, and that's going to stretch their squad as good as it is. What do you guys think? Of course, let us know. We'd be loving to hear your opinion too. But that's it for another One Football Daily News. I'll be back with you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us.